he said it because of his wet blanket energy.
Unhinged. That's actually unhinged.
Hello and welcome to She's All Batch. I'm Stefanie.
And I'm Jackie.
And today we're going to be recapping episode 6 of The Traitors, season 4. And we have a special guest helping us out today. We have Morgan, host of Morgan Pop Talks podcast, one of my favorite podcasts. Morgan, welcome back to She's All Batch.
Thank you. It's been too long. Where have we been?
I'm like,
what is this?
I feel like the last time you were on, we were recapping, I believe, was it Grant season?
I feel like it was longer.
Yeah, I think it was longer. I want to say maybe Zach's season.
Zach's
That's
season,
crazy.
yes. It was Zach's season, not Grant's season. That's even worse because
that feels like
way
another
too
life.
long.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy you're back. This episode, out of all episodes for you to come on the show for, this episode was hands down the best of the whole season, right?
Yeah, it was crazy. I went to sleep very upset last night.
Why are you upset?
I'm a Ron apologist.
Me too.
And I just feel like they did him really dirty and I don't like it. And I feel like, you know, the audience was starting to say things that they said at the round table last night in regards to Ron and Colton and how Ron was treated differently, even though essentially he was doing the same thing. So I'm glad that other people did see it. And I'm glad that it wasn't like a unanimous send Ron home moment. But still, I just feel like it was an easy target. I didn't like it. And I honestly, Rausch, MVP.
Oh, he's going to win this whole game. I am obsessed. It's shocking me how smart he is playing this. And like, we'll get into it because I think his choices, especially down at the round table, although he's betraying his fellow traitors, I think we're like genius, brilliant. Makes so much sense for him personally.
Fully support. Yeah. We start off this episode, so everyone arrives at breakfast, which means no one took a shield in the previous challenge, which I was shocked by. I thought for sure.
Me too.
I think a lot of people thought Colton definitely took that shield.
I feel like if they would have been by themselves, a lot more people would have taken the shield. But because they were running around in groups, it's like nobody could really do it without, you know, how many people, 4 other people being able to say yes to it? Or were there individual ones and then group ones?
I think some of them were like, they'd have 1 or some of them had 2, but then I remember there were 2 groups of 4 shields each. And I almost felt that would give them all a little bit of protection. Like if there's 4 of them in the group and there's 4 shields, they could all agree to take a shield and then it wouldn't single-handedly like look like one person betrayed the whole group. You know what I mean? And they could at least like lean on each other and then it wouldn't be like, oh, because I took a shield, now I'm a target.
But I still feel like people would go back to the castle and blame one person for the whole group getting shields. You know what I mean? Like if Colton was the one to say, oh, we should all get them.
Yeah.
That, you know, if they did take the shields, they'd be like, oh, well, it was really Colton, the one that was pushing it. So there's still ways that could be, you know, detrimental to the game. But I did also think that it was very surprising that nobody took one.
I know. Yeah. And then I think too, like as they get into the challenge from this episode, once again, they're like, all right, guys, no shields, no shields, no shields.
Yeah, what is up with that?
Well, that's not a good strategy long term. You can't just keep saying no shields so that everyone is incapable of being kicked off every single episode, because let us not forget the point of this game is to get out traitors and faithfuls. You're trying to whittle down the group. And if every single round no one can get eliminated, that's not a good strategy. If anything, it's smarter to just take the shield so that you can't be eliminated and then we can at least keep it moving, you know?
It's very like a popular clique mentality when they were like, no shield, and if you take a shield, you're getting banished tonight. It's like, whoa, play by our rules or you're gone. And I just think like, are you playing a game or is this a fraternity? Like people have to go.
Yeah. Right. And there are some people that are itching, right? Jam, we saw, he's like, what? Are you serious? We're really not going to take shield. So I do feel like that strategy is on borrowed time because we only saw Jam say that, but I'm sure there are other people in the castle feeling that way too. Colton probably now more than ever is like, I definitely need shields moving forward because I pretty much offered myself up on a silver platter. So I'm hoping that doesn't continue because it's making for like less messy gameplay. But I have a feeling that strategy is on borrowed time.
It has
or like
to be.
the production will swoop in and just be like, guys, off the record, just like stop doing that. Like you can't do that. It just doesn't make sense for that to be a theme every single episode. So I do agree. I think by next episode, it'll be gone. We learned that the whole house is after Ron right up top because he has the most obvious evidence against him. And I'm just like, I do not subscribe to that. I do not understand. There's nothing that that angel on earth did that Colton didn't do as well. And
Yeah.
they only started targeting Colton this episode, which I think is complete BS.
You know, like they said at the round table, and I feel like all of us viewers were watching at home saying it doesn't make any sense that Ron is being punished for playing the game. Like he offered up evidence against Portia. And I think you said this, Stefanie. Portia got Portia out. Like Ron didn't get Portia out. Like it wasn't like he was the one and only person that voted for her. And Portia, like that was going to happen to Portia regardless of if it was night 1, night 2, night 3. Like Housewives fans know that Portia has these slips of the tongue all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it just was an unfair like balancing act that they were trying to do. And also I do feel like Ron was a little bit withdrawn from the group, which was detrimental, but I can't say that I blame him because if they're gunning for you night 1, night 2, night 3, night 4, I wouldn't want to be like chummy with these people either, which is why I'm glad we saw like the moment that Rob connected with him because it kind of started to feel like, and I know bullied is like, you know, a taboo word and it gets thrown around lightly. But if I were Ron, I would feel that way.
Yeah,
For
no, it made
sure.
me so sad seeing him just kind of like eating his dinner by himself while
God,
everyone
don't
else
even.
was sitting at the table.
I tried to
I saw a
justify in my
TikTok of that
head that,
last
like,
night. Yeah.
oh, he didn't eat alone. Like, that was just a quick scene. And I tried to tell myself that because it really did make me upset thinking that. Also, like, he is such a good sport. He even said, like, as good of a faithful as I am, I want you guys to get me out so then you can know that I was never a traitor. That man has a heart of gold, and I'm just so mad that he had to go so soon.
I mean, on the other side of it though, someone does have to go.
But not
Like it is a
Ron.
game. It is, I know, but what? He was not going to win. So at that point, it's just kind of like, well, might as well just move this
Yeah.
along
I
here.
think that's where he was in last
Yeah.
night's episode, right? When he is like going around the round table telling everybody, you know, what they meant to him. I love how they like skipped over some people. It was like
I know.
Colton, Candace, you're great, you know, like going around. But I feel like that was a pivotal moment for him too, because it's like, what traitor would go around like saying their thank yous and their farewells if they were a traitor? Like that's not traitor behavior. So I am glad that some people saw it, but it was never going to go away. The allegation was never going to go away. And he felt that, which is why I feel like he was okay with people writing his name down.
It's interesting you bring up him saying the compliments to everyone at the round table because I wrote that down initially too. I was like, so much of what he's doing is so not traitor behavior that like he has to be kind of flipping the room in that moment. However, then I was like, okay, but if you were a traitor, what an amazing, emotional, manipulative move to connect with everyone personally so that they feel bad all of a sudden for getting rid of you. And I think that's why this game gets so hard as it gets whittled down, like Rob was saying, because then you start to really like these people. And who is selected as a traitor is not like a personal choice. It really is just a game, but then people's emotions get in it. And then I think they get really tripped up as it continues to go on.
It's kind of similar to Mama Kelsey saying, I was just fangirling over all of you
Yeah,
guys. And
I
I'm like, you
know.
know what? Make them feel guilty for sending you home. I get it. I do think it's funny that all Ron had to do to kind of sway, 40% of the table was just compliment them. Like after he went in the circle, everyone's like, I don't think it's Ron anymore. Like he told me I was nice and funny and therefore it's not Ron. Like he didn't present any other evidence. I think Colton even said like, we'll learn more from banishing you than we are from this round table right now. Like you aren't bringing anything up to sway us otherwise. So, but the compliments worked way more than I thought they would.
I also think it just shows kind of, how Ron wasn't able to connect with people outside of that moment, for the most part, right? Because that was another criticism of him was that he wasn't getting to know people. People didn't see this or have this like human connection with him. He said it was because, he thinks it reveals bias in the game, which it kind of does. I mean, look at what happened to Rob. As soon as he got close to Ron, he no longer wanted to go with the group, and he's a traitor. So it's like that connection is one of the most important parts of the game. And as soon as he did it, that's when people's minds started to change. So if he would have done it earlier, I feel like he might have been in a better position to stay a little bit longer.
Yeah, Rob's ability to sway the group is really going underrated right now because I think everyone's kind of pointing to Colton as kind of the ringleader who can kind of move the minds. But Rob, that man is so smart and he's so good and he's so charismatic. Like I've been saying it since day one, like he is going to win this game because he's so good. And I don't even think he realizes, does he know how hot he is and how like charismatic he is? I guess he kind of does because he was on Love Island. But he wears overalls with no shirt under.
I was just gonna say he wears overalls with no shirt on it. He knows that he's hot. But like he's hot and a good person. Like he's standing up for the guy that like everyone's being mean to. And no, he's not a good person.
He betrayed his fellow traitors after they made a pact.
Okay, can we go to there?
Let's get into it.
So the round table, everyone, it was going to be either Ron or Colton. And then Colton throws Lisa's name into the mix. Actually, let's backtrack. Colton going up to Lisa and kind of proposing her this little
that was
game
crazy.
plan. I thought this was wild. And like, I'm sorry. I thought it was kind of brilliant if it worked. Like when he's like, I know it's you. I'll keep you safe at the round table if you keep me safe in the turret. Lisa's reaction was horrible. Like, tell me you're a traitor without telling me you're a traitor. She was not prepared for something like that. And for a second, like, debated it, but took too long to respond. Like, I mean, I'm sure Colton knows for sure now after pitching that to her that she is a traitor.
That was such a crazy bold thing to say that even Lisa Rinna, a professional actress of 35 years, literally couldn't compute in real time how to respond to that. I don't know how I would respond to that. If someone calls you out to your face, it's just you one-on-one, like making eye contact. It could potentially really backfire for Colton, but I think now he's in such a good place where if he is eliminated, immediately then everyone's going to know it's Lisa Rinna. So then as a result, she is not going to eliminate him, So now he almost has protection in that way.
He's playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers.
Totally.
He is thinking multiple steps down the road, which I don't think a lot of people are. It was a wild thing to do, but I also think that his MO kind of throughout the whole season has been like being aggressive, whether it's calling out a name or, trying to sway the group towards Michael or having this one-on-one interaction with Lisa Rinna. He said, like, I'm playing pedal to the metal and I'm not going to let up. Even after he went after Tiffany, and we all know how that panned out. So I was surprised because we've never seen it before. But I wasn't surprised that Colton was the one to do it.
Agreed. I just don't get why he's playing that way, though. Like, it's great television, but I don't think long-term it's a great strategy. Eventually, Colton is going to be gone, whether it's banished or eliminated by the traitors. And like I don't think he's going to make it to the end being so bold. You make too many people mad.
Well, I have a question. When he sits down with Lisa and says, I want to win this thing with you, isn't that not possible? Because if he makes it to the end with Lisa, she will reveal she's a traitor and then Colton automatically loses. So you can't win with a traitor. Am I wrong?
Right. No, you're correct.
No, you're right.
So I mean, I wish she would have called him out on that because when he sat down and said that, that was, again, I thought very smart. It's manipulative, getting her to think that you're on her side, but you're not on her side. So he has no intention of really keeping her to the end. Like, even if she was like agreed to this deal, he was going to get rid of you in another way. Like, he would banish you in a future week.
Well, that's like most alliances on this show. Like, you can make them and it will get you to a certain point. But at some point, those alliances need to turn on each other. Hence why this whole traitors thing, I think, was so interesting. I didn't think it would happen so early in the game that the traitors start turning on each other. But that is a fact of the game, that they can stay united all the way down the line. But eventually, they do have to turn on each other. And so that's why I think Rob's choice to turn on Lisa was smart, because what is she going to do? She can't get rid of him. He has no risk other than her just being mad at him. He actually has no risk, and he could have exposed himself by voting either way because those two people were so trusting of him, Colton and Ron.
In 2026, it's time to get back to feeling like yourself. And if losing weight is one of your 2026 goals and you're ready to make progress you can count on, then Weight Loss by Hers might be the right fit for you. There's so many options out there for weight loss treatment plans, and so it can honestly be really hard to find out which one is the best choice, who to trust, what to know about side effects, and if something's even going to work for you personally. And that's why Hers offers access to doctor-developed treatment plans that are personalized exactly for you. Through Hers, you're connected to a medical provider who determines if treatment treatment is right for you. So if you're prescribed, your treatment plan is personalized to support you in reaching your goals. Plus, you can access a range of treatment options like oral medication kits or GLP-1 injectables. They even offer the convenience of 100% online care with licensed providers on the other side who learn your story and create personalized plans to help deliver healthy progress that you can maintain. So no more yo-yoing, just steady results. So turn to Hers for a comprehensive, personalized healthcare plan that you can count on. Feel like your best self again. Visit forhers.com/she'sallbatch to get a personalized, affordable plan that gets you. That's forhers, forhers.com/she'sallbatch. forhers.com/she'sallbatch. Weight loss by Hers is not available everywhere. Compounded drug products are not approved or evaluated for safety, effectiveness, or quality by the FDA. Prescription required. See website for full details, important safety information, and restrictions. Actual price depends on product and plan purchased. This episode is brought to you by IQ Bar, our exclusive snack, hydration, and coffee sponsor. IQ Bar protein bars, IQ Mix hydration mixes, and IQ Joe mushroom coffees are the delicious, low-sugar, brain and body fuel you need to win your day. The new year means a clean slate, so it's time to transform frustration into fuel and power your day with IQ Bar. All IQ Bar products are clean label certified and entirely free from gluten, dairy, soy, GMOs, and artificial ingredients. Something that I've really been loving about IQ Bar is that I've been taking them right in the morning before I go to my workouts. I normally wake up in the morning and just roll out of bed, work out, and then maybe have something afterwards. But I've been grabbing an IQ Bar with me just to give me a little bit of fuel. And I genuinely feel that I am going harder in my workouts and really making the most of that time for myself. And I don't think that would have been possible without taking an IQ Bar with me beforehand. Plus, they taste really good and they have so many really good flavors. And right now, IQ Bar is offering our special podcast listeners 20% off all IQ Bar products, including the Ultimate Sampler Pack, plus free shipping. So to get 20% off, text BATCH, B-A-C-H, to 64,000. Text BATCH to 64,000. That's BATCH to 64,000. Message and data rates apply. See terms for details.
When it comes to Colton, I was actually thinking about this last night and why he's like playing the way that he is. And I don't know this, but it's a thought, is I wonder how many of these reality TV people don't actually care about winning as much as they care about screen time. Because it's
That's
like,
so true.
you know, especially when you get to the end and you win with 4 other people and it's what, like $200,000, just like 50 grand. That's still a lot of money, but it's not $1 million that you win on Survivor and then you're divvying it up between 4 people. And that's kind of why I feel like people are so stoked to be chosen as traitors because they know, oh, I'm going to get so much screen time. But then we see Rob last night say, and I think this is why Rob will end up, you know, making it very far and potentially winning, is because he plays like a faithful. He doesn't play like a traitor. He, you know, is voting against a traitor. He's keeping his mind open when Colton is throwing out different names. And so I wonder if that is an element to people's gameplay, which I'm sure that it is.
Yeah, no, that's such a good point. I think I said this at the beginning when we started recapping Traitors, and I didn't make this up, like, so I don't want to take credit for this theory, but like there is 2 games of Traitors. There's the actual game that they're like literally playing, and then there's the game of, like you said, getting screen time and making memeable television so that you can revitalize your career. Like I think Boston Rob is an amazing example of this. Like he came in, he had his moment, he didn't win the game, but like didn't he? He's like hosting the official Traitors podcast. Like we can't get rid of him, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't want to get rid of him. I love Boston Rob. Now I didn't even know who he was until he came on this episode. Or on this show. So yeah, I feel like that's probably what Colton's strategy is. Also, like these people are getting paid to just be there too. And I think it's more in most cases than what the prize pot even is.
No,
so
I heard
like what's
that
the
Boston
point?
Rob got paid upwards of 400,000.
What?
Crazy. For 2 weeks
I
of
just
work.
watched a TikTok. I mean, it's my source is one TikTok.
Right,
so do your own research. But like, I'm hearing that what they're getting paid is significantly more than the prize pot. So I totally agree with you, Morgan. I just think they want to stay honest. Like, just like honestly, Bachelor in Paradise. It doesn't really matter if you make a connection, but if you stay another week, you get more screen time and there's other benefits to that. I think Colton saying, I don't want to get rid of a traitor, but I may want to hold one hostage, is a weird thing for Colton to say.
I
I
think a lot of viewers
that
thought
one
that one
through. I don't know if he knew that him being back on reality TV would bring up his past in such a big way, but everyone's talking about his past with Cassie. So I think
Yeah.
to jokingly say, I'm going to hold her hostage when you've done what you've done, I think was a weird choice of words.
I don't know how he could not anticipate that this would be the reaction. I mean, in the day and age that we live in the climate of social media, I I feel like we saw this coming from a mile away. Even when Colton was announced that he was on the season, we were all kind of like, oh, that's an interesting, representation from Bachelor Nation. So I don't know. I think you have to brace yourself for this reaction because there's no way that people are going to let that slide in 2026.
Yeah, but I feel like he's now being introduced to a whole new audience that doesn't know his past, that it is revitalizing him in some way. Like there's a group of us on the internet who are like, wait, no, but guys, we're screaming from the rooftops. This is what this man has done. But so many people don't know or didn't know. So I don't know if we're just like a small, loud group and everyone else is just like, oh, Colton has good outfits and he's fun. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he is making good television, though. I mean, I
Yeah.
think if Lisa gets rid of him, I know people don't like him. And this is not, I hate that I even have to say this, but by me thinking he makes good television does not mean I support things that he's done in his past. But if he goes home, this show is not as entertaining. My jaw was on the floor with some of the savage things he said this episode. Like he says to Lisa, I'll take us both out just to take you out. Like he's coming for it. And that makes good television. And there's just a group of people on this show. They're very quiet and they're not really making much waves. Are they going to be the ones that take over the screen time if Colton goes home? Or when it was Colton, Lisa, or Ron, I was like, this is Sophie's choice. I don't want any of you to go home. I think you all bring a lot to the show. But there's a lot of people, Mark Ballas, Tara, like, do you speak? Like, I would rather those people go home than the people who are actually driving interesting storyline.
That's so true. There's a lot of boring faithfuls. But I wonder if that is, who was it? Who's the other figure skater, not Tara Lipinski, the guy? What's his name? Johnny. He was kind of rounding up a group of people to be like, oh no, if we band together 8 people, we can now control the round table. I wonder if it's been a strategy of him and other quieter faithfuls to just be quiet to get to a smaller group, and then they can finally start playing the game the way they actually want to play the game.
Yeah. I feel like if Colton leaves, a new Colton will emerge. And I want to say that it would probably be Jam Jam or even Natalie. I mean, if you watch Natalie on Survivor, she does not take anything from anybody. And Jam Jam's playing hard too. I just feel like they are kind of overshadowed by Colton. Now, I don't think they would play in the same manner, obviously, because Colton's actions are eventually going to get him off the show. But there are still some very strategic people who aren't afraid to play. I just think right now they're being overshadowed.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't know Natalie from Survivor, but I am loving her. I feel like she's like going so under the radar as like a really smart and good game player.
Yeah. And she won Survivor. So
did she?
Yeah, she did.
You know what I think Lisa Rinna could have said to Colton, and maybe if she had more time to prepare, she would have. But when he pitched her this whole an alliance, I guess, essentially, what if she said like, look, I'm not a traitor, but I'm willing to protect each other. And because like she can't say it to him. So I understand her not being able to say it to him, but her reaction was so bad. I think not taking him up on his offer was a bad move. Now a lot of people are onto her, and Colton wouldn't have even voiced that at the round table had she taken his deal.
I think it's Lisa
next
episode. I think Lisa's gone. I think her time is up, unfortunately.
Yeah. Unless Colton was lying. He could have been lying to her to see, if like the whole protecting thing, like if she would have came back and said, okay, yeah, I will protect you. He might have then went to the rest of the faithfuls and said, I just caught Lisa. She is a traitor. This is what she told me. I was kind of surprised that Lisa Rinna didn't bring up the Colton conversation at the round table. I do understand that it could very easily, they could have been like, oh, well, she's definitely a traitor then. But I think she could have framed it kind of like what you said, Stefanie. I'm not a traitor, but this is what he's saying behind the scenes. He wants to work with traitors, or maybe he is a traitor and he's trying to throw everybody off the scent. That would have given a little bit more pause for Colton not being trusted with the rest of the group.
Because if your goal is to get rid of traitors and he's openly saying, I know you're a traitor, but I'm not going to get rid of you to benefit me, I could see people banishing him for that.
Right.
Yeah. Should we talk about the round table?
We must. What a nail-biting roundtable. Oh my God.
No, it was so good. And the fact that it started with just Ron and Colton and then ends with Ron, Colton, and Lisa. And it's Ron only winning by one vote, then Lisa. Like Rob was really playing with fire there by voting for Lisa because one other person or two other people and that traitor would have been gone.
Well, which I think would have still been good for Rob. I think inevitably, like, you just want to still get more people out. You had texted me, Stephanie, like you were like, okay, no spoilers, but that episode was so good. And so I thought during the roundtable that it was going to be Lisa's time for real. I was like, ooh, are we finally going to get her? That would be crazy if there was so much of a switch just in a very short conversation at the roundtable when that wasn't initially what people were going in to do. But I think next episode, for sure, people are onto her. People are onto her. And like, she hasn't been playing it that well. Like, they're not wrong to be super onto her.
Her reaction to Colton saying, like, you're not acting like yourself, she really wasn't acting like herself. And I mean, when you have Dorinda, who knows you very well, you know, talking to Colton, being like, yeah, she's really not, especially when you consider the whole like screen time aspect of it. Lisa Rinna hasn't been on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills in a couple of years. And that's not to say that she's like not doing anything. That's not what I mean. But she's a reality TV icon. And I just can't imagine her, of all people, you know, getting the call to do the Traitors, being a traitor, and then sitting there like kind of passively, kind of like Dorinda is right now too. I know Dorinda has experience in a previous season. She didn't want to be sent home first again. But Lisa, I do think just was too much not the Lisa Rinna that everybody was expecting. And I was actually shocked that Rob voted for her. But again, it is smart because like you said, he has very publicly aligned himself with Colton. He, you know, didn't want to join the Ron train for 4 days straight. I think Rob was hoping that not as many people were going to write down Lisa's name and was kind of surprised when it only came down to one vote.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be Lisa going home and Rob was going to be the last one. Because then when it was Rob and then it was Mark was the last one, I was like, why is Mark the last one? And then I'm like, oh, it's because Lisa doesnn't go home. And like, it doesn't matter. But yeah, that was wild. I think it was really smart by Rob. And like, even like Colton said earlier in the episode, when he asked Rob about it, he's like, oh, what do you think about Lisa? He's like, if he says, oh no, like, I don't think it's Lisa, I'm going to then be on to Rob. But then Rob was smart enough to be like, possibility. Like he never gives you like a full answer, but he's willing to slightly be on board.
Well, right, because if enough people had gone for Lisa and Rob didn't go for Lisa, then that also puts him into question. And he is really smart to like be thinking so many steps ahead in that way.
I do kind of love Colton jabbing Lisa throughout this episode, though. Like he's like, oh, the housewives are all sitting together. So nice that you're banding together for once. And then when her personality comes out and she's like, oh, yeah, do you like this? He's like, yeah, I've been waiting for it for how many days now? Like, welcome, Lisa Rinna. Like
Lisa Rinna did make a huge mistake writing Portia's name down in that first round table because it's so true. It's an unwritten rule. Housewives do not go against housewives. I mean, even in her press after she was off the show, that's what Portia said. She said, I couldn't believe that housewives were going after housewives. And that's a huge, huge, huge red flag. I understand from Lisa's perspective, there were 5 housewives. So more than likely, at least one of them is a traitor. So you do kind of have to position yourself to be going against other housewives to like lead the trail off of yourself. But it just doesn't make any sense in the long run. And it really was a big mistake.
Yeah, especially because it was like literally the first one.
Right.
There wasn't really enough evidence to be so sure. And did Candace not write Portia's name down? I wrote that down. I was surprised.
I thought I got it mixed up in previous episodes. She didn't. Lisa did. I think it's crazy that, well, Lisa is not playing a great game, but like Candace hasn't really been either, but like no one's suspecting Candace.
I know.
Despite the comment.
I know.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. Even Lisa keeps complimenting her on her great game. And I'm like, is the great game in the room with us? I feel like she's done things that are so obvious and no one has looked at her.
I think her being so persistent on Ron too, like in the castle, it probably comes across as like Ron said, I appreciate you being dedicated, right? Because she's like, I've never got off Ron. But if you're looking at people and the way that they behave, this person has written Ron's name down 4 different times. That to me says, I don't want to write anybody else's name down because I don't want people to start writing my name down.
Yeah.
When it was like pretty much just the 3 traitors in a room, and Rob was like, yeah, so interesting. Like, I don't really like think it's Ron anymore. And of course, like Lisa and Candace's ears perk up and they're like, huh? Say more. Like, what do you think about this? But they can't say that. Like, they're all kind of like speaking a language underneath the words that are actually coming out of their mouths. And I just thought that was such a funny moment where it's like the traitors like telepathically trying to communicate with each other of like, stick to the plan. And he was like, yeah, no, just as a true faithful, I just like don't really feel that way. I thought that was so funny.
I want to know why just bringing someone's name up and being wrong about the fact that they're a traitor means that you're a traitor. That's the theme this season. If you bring someone up, like even Colton swinging and missing on Tiffany, like why does that mean that Colton's a traitor? Why did it mean that Ron was a traitor because he was wrong about Portia? Everyone has some type of evidence they're bringing up. We have to take shots at people. This whole theory that like you're a traitor if you bring someone up, I would just never bring someone up. I would just sit there and wait for other people to bring stuff up.
But then that also makes you obvious.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Donna
But
Kelsey.
I also think that's why, a lot of people are hiding behind Colton. That's why people aren't, being like strategic masterminds because they've seen the pattern. Okay, every time somebody says anything at the round table, their name is next on the chopping block. So why am I going to put myself out there, even if I do have ideas and thoughts? I mean, we've seen it with like Kristen. Kristen says a lot of stuff behind the scenes, but she's never really one to be super vocal about it at the round table because she knows history might repeat itself and I might be next if we go for Colton and he's not a traitor.
But I think that is also, stereotypically classic traitor behavior to be someone more loud to try to push the group in a direction. So I think that's why they keep coming for people who are wrong, because I do think if you were a traitor, that's kind of what you're supposed to be doing, is throwing out other names so that the group is like totally on to someone else and not you. So I could see how that is like suspicious.
Can we talk about what's to come?
Sure.
So the banquet. So I actually saw a clip of Alan saying, he was teasing the season and he said, when they go to the banquet, like be prepared. It's the craziest episode of the season, basically. And once he said banquet, I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. What are we doing? We find out that the traitors have to MUR in plain sight in front of everyone. And just to remind you guys, we can't say the MUR word because this is on YouTube. So that's why I'm saying it that way. But basically, one of them has to wear a pin and they have to get someone else to touch the pin at the banquet. And then that will get them to go home, eliminate them by the traitors. What do we think about this little twist? Have they ever done something like this, like MUR people to their face in front of everybody?
Well, there was there was the time where I think it was when Parvati was a traitor. They had to get someone to drink out of a specific cup. That was one time. That's the only one I can think of.
Ekansu. Wasn't it Ekansu?
Yeah.
How did you get her to do that? That's crazy now thinking back to that. Like I
think they were all kind of hanging out doing like dinner and Parvati was like, oh, you want some wine? Like, I'll get you a drink. Here you go. And she just gave it to her.
Oh, okay. I thought you had to take a sip of someone else's drink.
No, but she had to take a sip of a specific chalice.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Okay. So what do we think? What do you think, Morgan, about the pin?
I mean, I'm excited for it. I feel like even in preseason press, people that played the game were like, there's a moment halfway through where all of our jaws were just on the floor. So we know that this is going to be the big moment. I'm like thinking, what could it be? Unless somebody catches Lisa doing it and they're like, no, she's trying to do this in plain sight and it like explodes in that regard. I do think they're now regretting the decision to have Lisa wear it because of the round table, Lisa specifically, right? Because the round table, her name's already out there. If she does this in plain sight and she's the one wearing the pin, it just, if anybody catches a little bit of wind of it, they're like, okay, I know. Colton's going to be watching like a hawk, right?
It should have been Candace now that you say that, actually.
It should have been Candace.
I feel like if Lisa was smart, this is not the time for some big move to try to go for Colton or really like make a point. This is the time to be as discreet as possible and just find some random person to just touch it and move on, because you're just too exposed with these plain sight moments.
I keep saying this, but I think Lisa needs to get out Dorinda. And I could see it actually, maybe this could be the reason why it's so shocking next week, because she's wearing this pin. I was thinking last night, like, how are you going to get someone to touch this pin? That's kind of weird, especially because she put it like around her chest area. No guy is going to go like grabbing at it. I could see going up to Dorinda and her being like, "Oh, you like my outfit? Oh, look!" Like I could see
Isn't this fabulous?
Oh my God, that's so cute. Yeah, like, and a girl just touching it. So maybe it's. I don't think it's Colton. I think that will be the obvious thing to happen. So they wouldn't be hyping it up and saying this is the craziest twist if it's the most obvious thing to happen. Don't you think? I think a woman makes most sense. I don't think a guy's going to go grab a pin. So I think it's going to be a girl, and I think it's most shocking to be Dorinda.
I wonder though, like they never break the fourth wall really in this show. I wonder though, like emotions are really getting so heated, especially between Colton and Rinna. I wonder if like the crazy moment is like some sort of screaming something or someone says something that they shouldn't, because there are also like rules to this game. Like if you are a traitor, you cannot actually say that you're a traitor or say that anyone else is for sure actually a traitor. And I think if that happens based on the UK versions, they have to stop the game and like repick people, and they do a whole big dramatic thing. So I sometimes wonder if there's some sort of like emotions going so high that people are like coming at each other in a way that like they're not supposed to. We have never seen that on the show before. People keep it pretty civil, all things considered.
I can't remember, and you guys might have to help me because I can't remember if it was last season or this season. But I do remember Alan saying something along the lines of, "I thought I was going to have to break up a fight." I don't know.
Maybe it's this season.
I feel like you're right. I feel like I heard that too.
And I don't know. My memory is thinking that he might have been talking about the Bob the Drag Queen Boston Rob moment. But I do
gonna
feel
fight then.
That was pretty tame. Yeah.
And I remember watching the Colton and Michael roundtable with that in the back of my mind. I was like, is this the moment that Alan was referring to? But then when we get the teaser for next week, remember there's like people running and screaming and like looking. And doesn't somebody say like they're gonna fight or something along like the word fight is in that little teaser. I'm wondering if things really do like explode.
I hope
I don't want anybody to fight. I'm like, I don't want anybody to fight, but
I don't want anyone to get hurt, but you're welcome to fight.
Yes, that's a better way to put it.
Totally.
For my entertainment purposes only. So who do you think it's going to be then?
I don't see Colton physically trying to fight Lisa Rinna just because he is such a big man like that. I think that would just be in poor taste. So I don't know.
Also, I liked that another one of his one-liners where he's like, just letting you know, if you come for me, I'm taking every shield from here on out. He's not going to win though, because he's a faithful. So as long as Rob makes it to the end with him, he's not going to win.
Right.
That's why if I were Rob, I would keep him around too.
Of course. No, Rob is
Ride
playing
me to the end.
ultimate chess. And to my point earlier, like putting Lisa's name down doesn't do anything to him. He can't get removed. So it's literally just, oh no, Lisa's going to be mad at me.
Right.
Okay.
The only thing it could potentially do, which I don't think they would do it right now, but if Lisa and Candace feel so slighted, they can start planting the Rob seed in other people's minds. But if they do it right now, it would be blatantly obvious that Lisa was also a traitor. So it's one of those things where they might have to wait for their moment, but it could end up biting him that way.
No, that's a good point. I just feel like he has so much trust of the group, though, that like if Candace and Lisa, two housewives, are sprinkling around little information and Rob's like, hello? Yeah. They're just trying to target me. I feel like everyone's going to go with Rob. So I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know who is going to fight. I feel like I can't see any of them really doing it. I like your theory, though, Stefanie, of Dorinda and Lisa. Because, you know, historically, they are historic housewives. They have a very long history together. We know they can both get to that place because we've seen it on Housewives from both of them. And I don't really know who else could like get to that level.
Yeah. No, I made a TikTok last night of Lisa Rinna's amazing iconic performance in season 5 of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills in the Amsterdam scene where she smashes the wine glass. And I'm like, I think this is the Lisa Rinna that Colton was expecting at the round table.
Yes.
We know she can get to that level.
But the
Where
fact
has it
that she's
been?
like, I can turn it on and I can turn it off, like that's the whole point. That's what we're saying.
I do, as a Housewives fan, I was like happy to see her say, I'm so much more than that, because
Yeah.
it's true. It is like kind of what she's known for, is these like, eccentric over the top moments, the smashing the wine glass, there's other, infamous housewife scenes where like, did Lisa Rinna actually just say that to everybody on camera? So, the housewife lover in me was like, yeah, Rinna, tell him that you were Lisa Rinna before you were a housewife and you're Lisa Rinna after you're a housewife. And there's more multitudes to her than just that.
Well, and also too, like being a housewife is a job. And I think the reason why Lisa has been such an iconic housewife is I think because she's been in the entertainment industry for so long. When she signed up for that show, she understood the assignment and she was there to kind of make amazing TV. I've always felt that she was very self-aware of what she was doing. And so in that sense, like she can turn it on and turn it off. Like that was more of a caricature that she was playing because she was hired to do that on a show. So to her point, to Colton, it's like, hey, I've been in the entertainment industry for so many years. Just because I did one show one time where that was kind of the vibe doesn't mean that that's like my actual personality. Not to now jump to Lisa Rinna's side, but I do love her.
She's Lisa effing Rinna. So don't mess with her. I don't know. I'm really excited to see how this goes down. Now I'm annoyed that we're to the point in the season where you only get one episode at a time.
I hate it.
I can't. But I think it'll be worth the wait. So if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and like this video if you're watching on YouTube. Comment below, who do you think is going to be sent home next week? Who's going to touch the pin? Morgan, thank you so much for joining us today. Can you tell our listeners and our viewers on YouTube where to find you?
Of course. You can find me on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram at Morgan P Talks. I have podcast episodes that drop every Thursday on Morgan's Pop Talks, and it's all things reality TV and pop culture. And if you want more, I do have a Patreon where I give exclusive interviews, bonus content, ad-free MPT episodes, and that's patreon.com/Morgan's Pop Talks.
Well, thank you again for coming back to the show, and we'll definitely collab more in the future.
Of course. I can't wait to have you guys on mine soon.
Oh, yes. Stay tuned for that. All right.
Yes.
Thank you. Is that it?
I think that's it.
Yeah, I think so.
Bye, bitches.